Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am Mateusz. You might know me from Instagram as a Gingin Watches. This is my first review in English, so let's jump right in and take a look at the Kollokium Project 01. Many people will ask, why spend this kind of money on a micro brand when for the same price you can pick from a wide range of timeless, versatile watches from famous brands. Watches that are easy to wear, classics that will never go out of style. And then you see something like the Kollokium Project 01, a watch that is the complete opposite of safe. It's unusual, polarizing, built around a shelf-grade movement, marketed as sporty, but too fragile for actual sports, covered in lume, yet basically unreadable in the dark. It's expensive, almost impossible to buy, and it doesn't try to please everyone. So why would anyone choose it? Well, the answer depends on where you are on your watch journey. When you're starting out, it makes sense to want something versatile, a daily wearer. Or if you're after high watchmaking, it makes sense to save for another Patek or AP than buying such a strange niche project. But once you own enough watches, ticked all the usual boxes, and you realize that a logo on the dial doesn't guarantee happiness, your perspective changes. Nobody in real life cares if I wear a Rolex. It doesn't improve my mood, it doesn't impress anyone. What I want is a watch that makes me feel good, something unusual, something that puts a smile on my face, but also well built, so I don't feel like I traded quality for its uniqueness. And also, I've been on the high watchmaking road and I came back. I want a watch to wear to supermarket, to the Friday barbecue. I don't want to feel uncomfortable wearing something over 50,000 euros. It doesn't fit me, and the watch should fit me. That's the key. For people like me, who are looking for something unique after trying everything else, micro brands often deliver more value than big brands. Big brands can feel too safe, too predictable. Micro brands can take risks. That's why more and more enthusiasts are drawn to watches like Kollokium. They don't want another Tudor or Omega. They want something that reflects their personal journey in the hobby. Just like collectors who prefer vintage over modern. Even when vintage costs more and offers less on paper, people buy Kollokium for the idea, not just the specs. Watches today are mostly about passion, collecting, a hobby. And like in any hobby, after catching one rabbit, you chase the next. So even if right now these pricey micro brands feel absurd to you, it's possible that in time you'll change your mind. Same for people who think buying any expensive watch makes no sense, whether it's an Omega or a Kollokium. As for Kollokium itself, this initiative hits me harder than similar brands. It feels like an answer to the question, what would a watch made by one of us look like? The brand was founded by three people, two industry veterans and Amorsindi, one of the godfathers of watch Instagram. A pioneer of less obvious choices long before the big watch bubble. Many of you probably know his Horophile account, especially if you were posting your wrist checks before COVID. And if every enthusiast project looked half as fresh as the Project 01, the industry would be far more exciting. This watch doesn't really borrow from traditional design. Sure, it's round and it has hands, but that's about it. The inspiration comes from industrial design, brutalist architecture, retrofuturism, even sci-fi. These influences aren't hidden in small details, they're bold, obvious, yet somehow the watch still feels coherent. The case is produced with casting methods normally used for precision tools. The finishing continues that tool-like aesthetic, bead blasted steel instead of standard brushing or polishing. The dial is the main attraction, nearly 500 tiny tubes, each with a hand-applied drop of lume. Early batches were done by different vendors because no one wanted to repeat the process. It's that crazy. The tubes form clear hour markers, and once charged, they glow like a cityscape straight out of Blade Runner or Cyberpunk. Everything is covered by a box-shaped crystal that lets you see that city from the side. Without it, the watch would lose half its charm. Sadly, it's also the part I worry about most. I've never smashed a watch, but with Kollokium I'm careful. I would never treat it as a sports watch. The risk is too high. Now, sizing. On paper it's 40 mm wide, 12 mm thick, 48 mm lug to lug. But that 40 mm is measured on the lower plate of the case. The central ring, the base, is 38.5. The crystal, the visual center, is only 36.5. That would suggest a small watch, but it's not. On the wrist it wears larger than 40. The dial is bigger than many 42 mm bezeled watches, even some 45 mm divers. And those pronounced lugs, like an industrial take on cow horns, make it occupy a lot of wrist real estate. Same with thickness. 12 mm isn't thick, but because the lugs curve down and the steel part is only 7 mm, while the crystal takes the other 5, it wears almost like an ultra-thin watch. Ergonomics might be the most interesting part of the whole package. The creators said they wanted a watch that fits almost any wrist, and I have to agree, they delivered. This might be the most cleverly shaped case I've worn. The strap also deserves praise. Their outside the industry mindset gave us something special. Many brands are conservative, going for the same old options, but here the inspiration clearly came from smartwatches. If you've worn them, you know they often have more comfortable straps than luxury watches. The textile strap here feels very smartwatchy, in a good way, super comfy, a perfect match. I'm a strap maniac and I rarely praise stock straps. This one is top tier. On the technical side, the movement is from La Joux. With ETA 289, 2 basically unavailable to outsiders, this was the best choice they could make. My piece runs with nice accuracy, has almost 3 days of power reserve, but it's pretty loud. That's every La Joux, not just mine, thanks to the unidirectional rotor. Now, the lume, a key visual element. Those approximately 500 lume tubes should mean something, right? Turns out it's mostly aesthetic. It's insanely impressive. Walk into a dark room after sunlight and you'll be amazed. But actual legibility, not great. Basically impossible. Maybe that doesn't surprise you, but it's worth saying. The whole luminescent installation is decoration. As decoration, it's amazing. And I'm happy more brands are using lume as part of the visual concept. But keep in mind, this is not very legible watch after dark. If you're after something that looks cool, you cannot find anything more impressive. But if you're looking for something to tell you the time in the middle of the night, look somewhere else. Of course, all this comes at a cost. The friends and family project started at 2,333 Swiss francs net, limited to 99 pieces with a red seconds hand. Then came a white hand, then my green, then 2 with yellow accents, and recently a purple one. The last was 3,666 Swiss francs net. With VAT, that's quite a lot, and every single one sold out instantly. No deals on the secondary market either. Few offers, often above retail. So is it worth it? Hard to say, very personal. Value depends on your taste, your current place on the enthusiast path, and where you're heading. Comparisons are hard. Nobody else is offering something quite like this. There's also the community aspect. For some it matters, for others less. But the community around these watches is stronger than around Omega or Rolex, if such a community even exists there. Indie watchmaking gathers real diehards, true enthusiasts, the inner circle, and such watch is your ticket in. At meetups, a Kollokium can draw more attention than a Patek or AP. It's a conversation starter like few others. So depending on the context, the Project 01 can be a brilliant deal, worth every penny, or just an overpriced toy. Here's the twist. Over the years, you've seen my perspective shift. I always liked unusual choices, but I still leaned toward big brands. Then I realized if I want my watches to express my journey, projects like Kollokium are the way. Conceptually, this feels like my natural next step. I don't need to prove anything anymore. I don't feel FOMO when others wear APS or Pateks and I show up with an Atelier when. Actually, I feel the opposite. Going indie is like leaving the crowded highway for a parallel road, just as fun, less stress. I fell in love with the idea of these choices. For the first time in years, I had a vision for my collection without the fear of missing out. I'm cured of grails and icons, and that feels great. But in practice, after weeks of wearing the Kollokium, I realized something. Maybe I'm not cool enough for this watch. I love the design, I love the idea, but I prefer boring watches. Simple, classic, timeless. Watches I can wear every day without thinking. That's a valuable lesson. I used to dream of buying avant-garde pieces like the Freak. I owned, admired, and even recommended watches like the Bel Canto to my watch friends. But only with the Kollokium did I live with one long enough to see. It doesn't work for me long term. I can admire them, but I don't want to wear them. Better to learn this now than waste money chasing grails that wouldn't make me happy. So what next? I don't regret buying it. It was a great experience and it holds its value. If I want my money back, I'll find a buyer. But it's no longer a keeper. Maybe I'll sell it soon, maybe later. For now, it's on the maybe list. And that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next one.